Good morning. Um, I just wanted to jump on here first thing in the morning before getting the day started, really, um, and talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is the shortcut, right? And to me, the shortcut has always been and will continue to be mentorship. It comes in lots of different flavors, lots of different um, formats, but it's actually pretty straightforward and simple. Um, Mentors provide a great example. Mentors teach, mentors coach, they help guide, all of those things. And believe it or not, that's how we've learned almost everything we know. Um, from, I guess, infancy, when you learn to walk, why does a baby that's trying to walk fall down and keep getting up over and over again? Because they see great examples. They see great examples of people walking and they know it's possible, so they continue to do it. What about my sports people out there, my athletes? When you learned a sport, if you really think about the coaches that you had growing up or the coaches that you currently have, they too learn that same sport from a coach and that coach from a coach. And so there's this cycle of each one teaching one or just learning from a trusted source, so to speak. Um, in the education realm, right, we have teachers, professors. This whole concept of mentorship um, goes beyond just the X's and O's of coaching. It goes just beyond the X's and O's of learning a specific subject matter in the classroom. Um, to me, when you want to be successful and you're seeking guidance and you're seeking mentorship, this is where it all kind of culminates. It all kind of comes together, and it's a very valuable resource. And if you don't have a mentor, I advise that you seek one out. If you're in an organization where mentorship is available to you, I advise that you seek that out and pursue it. Because think of it this way, if the mentor is pursuing you as the mentee, that feels like pressure, right? It's too much. And so the best mentors allow the mentees to come to them and then provide all that they're really looking for. I know in business, for instance, I've always looked at mentorship as God's shortcut to greatness. When you when you look at it with such reverence, you don't let it slip through your fingers. You don't take it for granted. Um, what you really want to have is a high level of appreciation for someone that's being in the role of a mentor, right? You want to have a high level of appreciation, and you want to understand that they're going to be adding value to you. And when you understand that, right, I guess the polarity there is you're seeking help. See, we have to understand that we have to be honest about where we are and what it is that we desire. Um, so I'm gonna go to my first bullet of successful mentorship, right? Is going to be you checking your ego and having some humility. And that's not a bad thing. What that is simply saying, look in the mirror, ask yourself the question, is where I am in life currently exactly where I want to be? Or do I want to be a little further along? Do I want something better? Do I want to make more money? Do I want to have better communication skills? Do I want to just be a better version of myself? And if where you are is here and where you want to be is over here, then understand that your mentor can help fill that gap. Your mentor can help get you to where you actually want to be. So once you find someone or a team or a group or what have you to serve as that mentor, you want to make sure that you're able to be honest and transparent, because most mentors don't probe. They want data from you, they want information from you so that they can provide the best possible or provide the best possible resource or resources to you. What do I mean by being transparent? Let's go back to sports, right? Easy example. For those that know me, I ran track in high school, I ran track in college, and I've had some of the best coaches. And one of the things that was necessary was for the athletes to share their physical condition and mental condition with the coach. What do I mean by that? If you're doing a hard workout and you actually feel something in your calf or your quad or your hamstring, and it's serious, it's important that you communicate that with the coach, right? The coach doesn't want you to further damage a muscle. Um, but you have to be honest, right? You can't use that as an excuse to get out of the workout because then you actually sabotage yourself. Um, so being honest and transparent kind of goes together. And part of the truth doesn't actually help. Long term, part of the truth only gets you part of the response or part of the resource or part of the advice that you seek. And if you don't give all of the information, who knows if the advice is appropriate? So being transparent is important. You want to also develop some tough skin along the way. If you're going to seek mentorship and work in a like dual relationship there as the mentee, you have to be able to receive criticism in a way where it can then turn around and assist you, help you, move you forward, right? And oftentimes that's in how you receive it. So I like to just simply call it develop tough skin, because that tough skin basically allows your heart to soften too. Well, what does that really mean? That means it's hard for you to be offended. That means you can receive that criticism, especially when you know in your heart that it's being given to you with a purpose, with a positive purpose behind it. And that's pretty cool, because when you build relationships with people and you understand who they are, what they desire most, it allows you to receive those tough messages in a positive way, right? And if anybody is into reading the way I am, there's a book, The Bait of Satan, that talks about the spirit of offense. And so that's like, you can ask anybody that's done something crazy in jail or whatever. They may say, I did it because, right? And when you say I did it because, that's you justifying bad behavior. And the number one justification for bad behavior is in your subconscious of being offended. How many times have we heard the crazy stories where at some nightclub, somebody steps on a guy's brand new pair of tennis shoes or something, and they're offended, right? You know, enough said about that. But you have to have that willingness to receive information, particularly criticism, in a positive light, right? What about an attitude of gratitude? I think having a mentor and having a high level of appreciation is something that, my goodness, it's imperative. Let me just say that. Let me paint a picture for you. Let's say you get a call from your grandmother, and your grandmother says, I know you're busy, but can you please stop by and take me to the grocery store at 10 a.m., right? On a Saturday morning, 10 a.m., for instance. And so you say, sure, grandma, I'll be there. I am busy, but I have time for you. And you show up to grandma's house at 10 a.m. and you call her because she's not ready. And she said, baby, I'm about to get in the shower. And now you're sitting there. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11:30, whatever. And so, yeah, you still take her to the store, but are you happy that grandma was extremely late? Probably not. I think you'd be much more willing to help grandma the second, third, fourth, fifth time if, when you pulled up at 10 a.m., grandma was standing on the porch, ready to go, excited, and with positive energy, right? So very simply, an attitude of gratitude will encourage, watch this, the mentor to show up and show out positively for you. So when you have an attitude of gratitude, and this is not just in the mentor-mentee relationship, this is in life. When you have an attitude of gratitude, people around you appreciate that. This next one is one that I've often had challenges with, but found it to be extremely important and helpful when executed properly. And it's communication. Mentors and mentees have to communicate all the time. Now, all the time can mean once a week, once a day, once every other day. It just depends on what's necessary for that relationship. But a constant, regular communication does many things. The obvious is it allows you to course correct right away. So I liken that to a GPS. Mentorship is kind of like using a GPS anyway. Think about it. The first thing you have to let the GPS know is where you are. Well, the GPS uses the satellite, it knows where you are, and now it needs some input from you where you want to go. Well, your mentor needs that too, right? Your mentor needs to know where you are, where you want to go. And then there's this roadmap that can be created by the mentor to help you understand this is how we're going to get there. They may set milestones along the way saying, hey, I understand what you want. You're here. You want to be here. We're going to hit these milestones along the way. So your course has been charted for you. But that GPS example, lock in on this, it requires constant communication. It may be that communication allows you to say, hey, save 4 minutes by taking an alternate route. Yes or no, right? Well, if you're not pinging the satellite, if you're not communicating with your mentor, you don't get that information. You don't get that option of improvement. You don't get that option to get there faster. What about when you make a left-hand turn when the mentor said make a right-hand turn? And it may not be on purpose. It may have been an accident. But when you do that, if you're still in constant communication, what happens? Rerouting, right? There's a constant reminder of where you need to go and when, if you're staying in constant communication. And the easy example, like I started with, is if you think about it this way, if it's long periods of time between communication and you did make that wrong turn, you could be way off course by the time you are notified the mentor and they tell you, oh, you made the wrong turn, buddy. So again, communication, vital, very, very important. And then the last thing in any mentor-mentee relationship is the verb, is the follow through, is the doing what the mentor recommends. Whatever that means. I don't know if you're being told to read books. I don't know if you're being told to attend seminars. I don't know if you're being told to work on this or work on that. But here's the reality: whatever your mentor has been teaching you or asking you to do, now the rubber meets the road, right? It's time for you to put up or shut up, or as my grandmother used to say, piss or get off the pot, because follow through is everything. Follow through is king. Doing what your mentor suggests is the difference maker, because that's how mentors teach. You cannot steer a parked car. Mentors need the activity of the mentee so that they can see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, where opportunity lies, where we can work on these things to get to the next milestone, which overall gets us to the goal. So that's it. I just wanted to share this morning, sitting here in the spot. And so that's it for today. I'll come back and actually I may talk about something else a little later. See ya.